I'm like, okay, so having experienced so much life in such a short period of time, there's like some of these questions without even like attempting to be loaded questions. Like, tell me about your ex. Oh. Is that a valid answer? Is that a valid answer? Because it's like there's so much, right? Like there's like the grander things, right? Like me navigating psychosis, right? And then also navigating this really complicated group dynamics, right? That just keep reinforcing themselves, bro. Like for one, that like the only people who are confident enough to approach me are like low-key famous at minimum. Like it is I've they're either delusional in some sense or low-key famous. And there's like no in between. And it's not something that I do on purpose. It just happens. Because I'm low key famous and also low key delusional. I was just kind of like abused. I was just systematically abused for a bit, right? But like, I think the way in particular that I was abused was like it was abuse on my credibility, right? To make me seem less credible. And so I'm still like trying to figure out how to articulate that. I was like trying to explain it to my dad, and like I feel like I was missing the mark on like exactly how weird it is to have existed in like positions where I was clearly credible, to like having those markers of credibility taken away but still being the same person. And then like the lack of markers of credibility lead credible like people who are of like high rank to recognize me, but because I lack markers of credibility, they can't acknowledge fully that they are obsessed. And so then I end up in these situations where I'm aware of multiple high ranking, and I don't mean necessarily spiritually, but it tends to like kind of coincide to a degree of like really like popular people who are aware of me and think that I'm obsessed with them because they're obsessed with me. And it might just be like a mutual appreciation, right? But a lot of the times, it's like the first time I recognize that they even notice me is because they're being a dick, or because they're doing some like quite the opposite, kind of like glorifying me publicly. And I'm like, oh, oh. And then there's this element of me, being like witchy, where they're like, oh, they put a spell on me to make me obsessed with them. Why the fuck would I do that? Why the fuck would I do that? Ah! Love spells are insane. They're fucking insane. And the only time I've put a love spell on someone is when they have directly asked me to. You just love me, bitch. Why don't you figure that out? I'm delightful. Why wouldn't you love me? And then when you move past that, right? Like when we move past that, and we get into connections that like move past that and actually manage to get a little deeper, we get into the realm that I'm a freaky little bitch. I'm like a little freak. Oh, freak. I've been in the community since I was like 18 and I'm an old bitch. So there's a lot of things I like, right? And there's a lot of things I've explored. And there's this kind of energy that I'm like encountering that like the last two people who I've started to get a little, well, last three people I started to get a little bit more intimate with me, they shared the same like kind of kink profile, and so it didn't seem weird to me. But now that I'm out in the real world, I'm like, not everybody likes this stuff. But it's also a thing where I think I kind of misspoke about it, where it's like I do need like this degree of like grit and kink, but like when it actually comes down to it, I spend most of my time alone in silence. You know what I mean? And then I'm also scared. Like I'm recovering from like major reproductive surgery still, and so like even vanilla stuff is low key scary. I think I'm prioritizing like kinky dynamics because I really can't have sex without injury at this point, which is fucked up, right? And so I don't know, man. And then there's this thing where it's like I'm just kind of like talking about my past, but I'm very open. I feel like I'm like when I do like the BDSM test, I think the most relevant thing for me is like being experimental and also being involved in service, and like I whatever that looks like. So it's been like service topping, it's been like engaging in certain dynamics more just because of the type of people I've been with. But I'm actually like down to clown, and it's very rarely that I will like kind of dismiss a person based off of like superficial things, because what I am most drawn to is like a soul resonant connection. Like spirituality is like super important, but like the way that it's important is kind of vague, and it's vague in a way where it's like it's really hard to articulate when someone is just like on my frequency, right? And so when people are on my frequency, I kind of want to explore things, but I feel like there's a lot of preconceived notions about me, and it's really tough because I don't know, I just feel like people want to place me in their weird little boxes, and like because of the type of like chaos magic I do, it is damn near impossible to put me into any kind of container. I'm a non-Euclidean liquid, bro. I'm just gonna like do what the fuck ever. And when you're nice to me, I'll like try to make that like suit you to a degree, because I'm actually just very amenable and I really enjoy service, and I'm very capable of like saying when something makes me uncomfortable or like when I want to move away from a situation. um but I don't know, it's just this weird energy of people wanting to like put me into my place because they don't think I'm an equal, or thinking that I'm an equal but knowing that I'm not allowed to like play with them. And I think part of it is that I just need to learn how to like write business emails and just kind of invest in the projects and the art and everything I'm making. And I'm really happy with the content I just made, and I'm gonna make a lot more spirituality and tarot content because I'm just tired of being poor, and I know I'm good at it. And probably invest more into my Twitch again because that was like blowing up, and it's actually kind of, I figured out like a very low cost way to re-enter that space. But I'm like very tired of, like really rich famous people who get obsessed with me then rejecting me for for I don't know. I feel like I'm not even involved in it sometimes. I'm really not even involved in it. I think they have like a little bit of mental preoccupations because of past trauma. And unfortunately, I exist. And that is both a problem that they seek out and then punish me for. And I'm just kind of tired of it, bro. I'm really tired. I just want people to come correct and just be nice to me or leave me alone. or like make sense, because I'm autistic too. Like, what is happening? They explain it to me, bro. I'm dumb. Don't leave me alone with a social cue. I don't know what to do with it.